Michelle, and thanks everyone for attending today, and thanks for pulling together the briefing information. I think that was very helpful. Our focus today obviously is to make a final decision on the rebranding, and specifically on the name, not on the logo. So I think to get this done in sort of a relatively, I'll say, efficient manner, I'm just going to go around to each policy committee and ask them to give their brief comments. If you don't have any comments, that's fine. I will start it off, but my feeling is I think what the staff has come up with is fine. I would support going with what they had recommended. And I'm going to start with, let's see, Commissioner Driehaus, are you on the line? Sometimes I can't tell because it's
she was unable to make it, Tony. Hey, Michelle, are you recording the meeting? Okay. And Raj, I never did hear back from Raj, so.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, let's see. I'm going to start sort of on the left side of my screen and move around. Bob, you want to start?
Yes, I strongly support this staff recommendation, and I've been through name changes in my career with other organizations, and I really believe that you can launch a new image with the public with a name change, and I strongly recommend a strong launch, and it's a good way to engage the public in a new way. So I really believe this is a good new beginning.
Thank you, Bob. I was going to ask you, so are you using your real name today, or are you using another change name? Karen, what about you?
What's that?
I was Karen. You want to go next?
Okay. Well, if we're forced to choose between the two existing ones, I guess I'll go with the staff, even though I don't like R3Source. But here's what I did. I did a little research, unscientific, to find out what the names meant to average citizens who are recyclers. And what I found was neither of the names told them any more about what the solid waste policy district was than the old name. But what did work, what everyone liked, was the tagline, Hamilton County Recycling and Waste Reduction. That's a tagline that was suggested in the staff briefing. That was what everybody said, oh, now I know what they do, recycling and waste reduction. And so my vote is that the name be Hamilton County Recycling and Waste Reduction. I think R3Source is confusing, and I understand the sustainable is very general, but if our reason for changing our name is to make it more obvious to people what this department does, I don't think R3Source or sustainable does it. That's my contribution.
All right. Thank you, Karen. Let's see. Commissioner, how about you? Commissioner Kesterman?
Yeah, good morning, everyone, or I guess afternoon now. I would also echo that I support the staff recommendation of R3Source. I think, to Karen's point, it does not actually tell you what the district does, but that's really the work that they have to do after making a name change, make it stick. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, great. Thank you, Commissioner. Let's see. I think I got Sue up next.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of, neither one of them do it for me either. I think Hamilton County Recycling says it. And I get why you don't want it to say solid waste, because that makes people think of poop. But when you say R3Source, I think social service agencies, because that has been Hamilton County R3Source Center has been around for a long time. And there are dozens of partners in the R3Source Center. So I don't think that Hamilton County R3Source solves your problem of making your name mean what it, be meaningful to people. So I would lean towards just getting rid of solid waste, just be Hamilton County Recycling, But if you do want the tagline, I would go with Karen on Hamilton County recycling and waste reduction, because that really says what you do. I think that you are going to have more you're going to have longer conversations telling them what resource means than you were about what solid waste was. So, but then again, I agree with Bob that I think a new name, or really just any campaign that is really, thoughtfully implemented, could have, a positive impact, and being able to get, PR. And that's kind of what you want, kind of where the golden lining is, the free PR that you get with this name change. But, to be robust, you're going to be spending thousands of dollars on new artwork, and you're going to be spending, so I'm just kind of like, I'm not sure if changing to restock is worth it, or resource, because I keep calling it restock. So it's not sticking. It's just not going to stick, but I also, but if the majority thinks that this is a really good move, I'm going to probably go with the majority, because I'm not usually an outlier. So those are my 2 cents.
All right, thanks, Sue. Let's see, you said Raj is not on, and Commissioner Driehaus is not on. Who am I missing here? Larry Riddle, did you want to weigh in on this as an ad hoc member?
Yeah, just to say, I would agree also with the staff recommendation. And I'd offer that in I guess 22 years or so that I've been on the committee, thereabouts, somewhere between 20 and 22. I don't think I've ever had anyone ask me what resource means in our name, or any reference to our name whatsoever anyway. So I think the recommendation from staff is fine. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah, but Bob, I like your line of thinking. That was along my lines of thinking, is that any name, it's hard to push everything into one name, and regardless of what name you use, it's still going to be how you promote it, how you brand it moving forward. And I've got confidence that that'll be successful. Michelle, did you have any comments or any of your staff you wanted to pull in?
Yeah, just I thank you, all the committee members, for your comments and your suggestions. And I hear all of you and agree with all of you. So I will say that we have 3 choices. We have, we can keep our name the same, and we can revisit and renaming in the future. If you'd like to do that, we have Sustainable Hamilton County and Hamilton County Resource. And so I believe Tom and Joy may have some comments too, because they've been more, knee deep in this whole rebranding and name change. So I'd like to hand it over to Tom to see if he has any comments that he would like to throw in there.
Sure. Thanks, Michelle. First off note, I just wanted to reach out and thank all of you for making the time for this meeting. I really appreciate it. If you've all seen the video presentation, I won't labor on my introduction too much, outside of reiterating that I really think that the creative department did do a fantastic job of working these things up to give us some visual aids to try to wrap your head around about how these things might look if they're rolled out to the public. And for me personally, it did an excellent job of confirming where we initially netted out with recommending resource. I think the artwork helped with that, just as far as providing a visual aid around the names. It confirmed where I think our initial recommendation was for me, and I'm still a big advocate for resource. Bob, I definitely am on board with what you're saying about the campaign. Brand awareness takes time. It can take years, depending on the change. That's not something that ever happens for any brand overnight. So that will be the next big project. Once you have the name and the logos and the artwork, the push then becomes getting that out there and making yourself present and doing that campaign to push the brand awareness with the public.
Can I ask a question, Tom?
Sure.
This is somewhere in the briefing information that you provided, you mentioned that there were going to be 3 departments that were also going through this branding. And I know soil and conservation is one of them. I don't know what the other one is, but I'm wondering, can you tell us what the new names are, the new names too? Because I guess one of the things I was wondering about was how would our name line up with the other names that were kind of part of this branding?
So no, thanks for asking. That's a great question. The three agencies involved are the head overseeing Hamilton County Environmental Services as a whole, as the parent department. That name is not changing, and the other agency involved is the Southwest Ohio Air Quality Agency, whose name also is not changing. This is the only agency that's looking at a name change. So it's Hamilton County Environmental Services. It's the Recycling and Solid Waste District with a name change, in the Southwest Ohio Air Quality Agency.
We can't hear you, Karen. You're
We
muted.
lost audio.
Karen, you're on mute. Karen, you're on mute. We didn't hear what she said.
I'm sorry, my system froze up. I heard you. I heard the air quality, soil and conservation, and solid waste policy district, but are they changing their names? I missed that. Are they also changing names?
Hamilton County Environmental Services and the Southwest Ohio Air Quality Agency are retaining the same names.
Okay, that only reinforced my view that we should go with recycling and solid waste reduction. I mean, if we're going to have a one-word name that doesn't tell what we do, the others do. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, okay, back to you, Tom. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Tony, I just to tell the quick story, very, very quick story of what I went through in Austin. Our department, our city department name was Austin Solid Waste Services. And as we were getting into zero waste, recycling, composting, and household hazardous waste collection, we thought that Solid Waste Services didn't tell the whole story. So we asked our employees for a name change, and we did kind of like a 1-month survey of our employees, 400 employees. What's the best name for the organization? Well, the mayor decided to ask the general public to join in on that naming, and I would definitely not advise that. but it became a circus, and the mayor's office set up a website for submitting names, and we got all kinds of crazy names. And Austin is a music city like Nashville, and we got musician names and musician band names, and we've got all kinds of crazy names. And the top leader at the end of a month was a band leader, and we invited the band leader to our grand opening for the name change. And he was on a European tour, so he couldn't come. We tried to do the Zoom link for him to lead off the press conference, but he declined. But it was kind of a chaotic event nonetheless, but it got us a lot of press, an awful lot of press. And that's what the mayor knew, that it would do. But the point was that we got thousands of different names to choose from. And we ended up with Austin Resource Recovery. We got the resource in our name. And there was thousands of people that brought that name forward, resource. Right down the street from our headquarters is a human resources division that provided social services to the public, and they had resource in their name. We were concerned about that, but we did choose Austin Resource Recovery, and our elevator pitch was, we're in the business of recovering resources. That became our model, that became the pitch. And within 6 months, by surveys, we found that the public really latched on to that title within 6 months. They knew that we were the recycling composting department. We didn't have a secondary line. They just latched on to that resource recovery line pretty quickly. And that's a city of about 1 million people. We didn't have to do a directory reconnection between solid waste services and resource recovery like we thought we did. The name change went pretty smoothly and people caught on to it pretty quickly. So that's my quick scenario that we walked through.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Yeah, I
Good,
think
Bob.
recovery says a lot. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is Michelle, was Lily able to join us today?
No.
Okay.
This is Karen. I think there's a world of difference between resource recovery, which says something, and just resource. So I don't think, Bob, that your experience with resource recovery is necessarily what the experience with just resource would be.
Right.
Michelle, did you have any other comments, or your staff at this point?
Joy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Just to kind of summarize the case for resource, a large part of the appeal for that was this idea of alliteration, that resource is an extension of reduce, reuse, and recycling. And I think this committee knows, because you've been involved, particularly over the last few years, we're more than just trying to teach residents about recycling. We're also encouraging people to think about waste reduction. That allows us to have programs like the Reducing Food Waste programs. The past year, Mary Kropenbreaker has been really instrumental in developing the 513 Green Business Certification Program. And that leans very heavily on businesses teaching their employees some even simple things like using ceramic coffee mugs instead of disposable Starbucks mugs, right? So I think there are a lot of branding and extension possibilities with using that strong word of resource. And again, the emphasis is by capitalizing source to show that we are that primary source. We're the place that people, businesses, schools can turn to get that education, get that technical assistance to help them improve their waste reduction, to help them improve their recycling. So that's kind of the big, strong push on resource. And remember, the word's not going to necessarily stand alone. It's about Hamilton County, it's about our community. And again, it gives us that opportunity to emphasize those other 3 very key tenets, as we talk about this here on Earth Day, to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Before we go on, I just wanted to comment that the video was a great idea. I thought that was very helpful, very efficient way of doing it. Provided a great explanation and background, kind of tied in the other elements of the name in a very efficient way. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Michelle. And I'm sure there are other folks that contributed to that, but that was a great way to do it.
So thank you for that. So it was fun to put together. We really enjoyed it. That was a fun project on a pretty quick turnaround, but I think we all felt it turned out really well. But just kudos to Michelle for making the ask for that as a way to get the information to you prior to this meeting. That was kind of a thought that she came to us with, and we said, yeah, we can run with that. Let's put it together. So thank you, Michelle.
Good practice for rebranding. So, well, with that, I think everyone's had a chance to comment. I'm going to ask for a motion from someone. Anyone?
I made the second last time. I'll do the motion this time. I make the motion that we change the name to Resource.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. I need a second.
Second.
Bob, thank you. Is there any further comments, discussion? Otherwise, we'll take a vote. By my count, we have 5 of the 7 members of the committee online today. Unfortunately, Commissioner Dreehouse and Raj couldn't join us, but I think we need to proceed ahead. So I'm going to run down the list here, folks, pretty much following the same orders we did before. And Bob?
Yes.
Let's see, I think I took Karen next.
I abstain.
Okay. Sue?
Abstain.
Commissioner?
Yes.
I thought that's where you would vote, and I vote yes as well. So what do we have? We have, what's the count, Sue? Three of five, is that right? With one abstention?
2 abstentions.
2
Two
abstentions.
abstentions. All right. I think we can wrap it up. Michelle, thank you, and your staff again, thank you very much. And with that, unless there's any other comments, we're not going to try to conduct any other business today. We can wrap it up.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank
Thanks
you all
for
very
getting on.
much.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody, have a
Thank
good
you.
day.